Welcome back, amazing. So today we are cooking our ibile Gbegiri and Ewedu, aka Abula. If you know, you know. Hey, if you are a typical Yoruba and you don't know Gbegiri and Ewedu, hey, I don't know what to say. Anyways, this is the beans I'm going to be using. It is called ewa oloyin beans, basically. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and soak these beans in ordinary water. Then I'll leave it for like 2 hours or so. Now I'm washing the beans. I'll wash it thoroughly till I'm sure there's no any skin, any bean skin remaining. Alright, so I'm going to wash this thoroughly. I hope you all know how to wash your beans. Yeah, so I'll be right back. Now the beans is thoroughly washed, as you can see, and it is ready to be cooked. Now what I'm going to be doing now is I've already put this on the stove. Next I'm going to be putting my onions, and I'm going to be putting my iru locust beans. The purpose of the onion is to enable the beans to get soft fast. All right, and this is account. I don't know what it is called in your dialects, but we call it account. Like it aids the beans to get soft very fast too. So next I'm going to be pouring my water. Like I'm pouring ordinary water. Then I'll set the fire on for the beans to cook. I'll cover it and let it cook till very tender. Now this is my ewedu leaves, and I'll go ahead and wash this ewedu, but before I do that, I would put the water I would use to cook it on the fire. Yeah, here's the water. I'm going to put some iru inside this water and a very little cow, the same I use for the beans. All right, so after putting the cow, here's the cow. After putting it, I'm going to cover the water and bring it to boil. All right, so after it's properly boiled, I've already washed my what's it called, my ewedu leaves, and I'm going to go ahead and just pour it now inside the boiling iru water. So I'll just typically set the leaves in the water, then I'll cover it to cook till very soft. All right, so once it is soft, the ewedu is properly cooked now, and it is soft to my satisfaction. So next I'm going to be going ahead to pour this in the blender. Yeah, this is how I cook my ewedu. Some people use ijabe. If you are a Yoruba person, you understand what I'm talking about, but I stopped using that because I prefer this method. All right, it's like time saving. So you could see that I poured cold water inside the blender before pouring my ewedu. That's because the ewedu is very hot, so I just put the cold water, then I will set the blender to blend for just 1 2 3 4 5, like 5 seconds, because I don't like my ewedu to be too smooth. You understand what I'm talking about? So yes, it's just very fast, like this. Then once it is done, I'll pour it back in the pot and I'll transfer it back to the stove. So I'll set the light on. You can see it is not very smooth, which is the way I love it. So I'm going in with my salt and my seasoning. So after putting the seasoning, here's the seasoning. After putting the seasoning, I would just stir it and cover it to boil for to cook more for like 10 seconds or a minute. All right, depending on how you want it, but just for the seasoning to cook with it slightly. Now back to our beans. Now you can see that the beans is cooking already, so I'll go ahead and add some grounded pepper, yeah, just to give it some peppery taste. All right, so I'll add the pepper and cover it back to continue cooking. I added a little more water, because it needed it. So after that, I'll cover it back, then let it continue cooking until it is very tender. All right, now I think we are there. So the beans is very soft, you can see, right? It is like completely softened. Yeah, so next thing I'm going to be doing now is I'll go ahead and pour this in the blender. Yeah, like I did earlier, I added iced water inside the blender first because the beans is still very hot. All right, so I will let this blend smoothly. Yeah, so when it is smoothly blended, I'm going to pour it back. I'm going to sift it. Let's check. You see, you're going to see how smooth. Can you see how smooth it is? It is smoothly blended. Yeah, next I'm going to pour it back into my pot. I'm going to sift it. I mean sifting by, this is what I mean by sifting. I'm going to sift it back into the pot using this sieve. Guys, please ignore my torn sieve. I refuse to replace it. I don't know why. Anyways, so after sifting it, this is what I'm left with. All right, this is basically, I think, the iru, the unblended beans parts, and some of the ground pepper. All right, next you can see it is smooth. So next thing I'm going to be doing now is to add my palm oil. So I'll go ahead and add my palm oil now. So after adding the palm oil, I'll stir it thoroughly and put it back to boil. I'll bring it back to boil. All right, so I've already turned on the heat. So after I stir it thoroughly, I'll go ahead and add my salt and seasoning. All right, and I'll stir it properly, then cover it to continue cooking. Yeah, I'm about adding my seasoning. I've added my salt, so I'm adding my seasoning now. So I'll basically cover it to continue cooking. I'll leave it to cook. You need it to cook at this point because you just poured your palm oil, and you know the palm oil is still raw, so you need the palm oil to properly cook with the blended beans. All right, so I'll cover it to cook for like 10 minutes or thereabout. So once it is properly cooked, you are going to know. Yeah. Now I've left it to cook for like 10 minutes more. I think within 10 and 15 minutes, that was how long I left it for. All right, guys, please note that I made it this light because as it cools down, it thickens. It thickens as it cools down. All right, so don't worry about it being so light. It gets thickened up. As you can see, you see now it's thicker than it was. Now we are ready to eat. I've made my semo with my buka stew. I'm going to leave a link on how I made this buka stew. It contains orisirisi, assorted shaki, edo, everything, but more in it, guys. I'm giving myself buka treats. Then I added my ewedu and gbegiri. Then food is served. Would you join me? Please join me. Thank you guys for watching. I love you, and I'll see you in my next one. Love ya. Bye. Please subscribe if you